By 1948, 98% of the measles and all the other infectious diseases was eradicated. The measles jab that was happened in 1963. So was it your doctor and the pharmacist that healed you of measles? No. It was working class people that said, we don't want to have dead animals in our water and poop and urine in the street. It's probably not a good thing. So by changing the environment and cleaning up the environment, cleaning up the inputs to your bodily system, the water and the air you're breathing and all this stuff, the infectious diseases went away.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another inspired conversation. Our friend Tim James, founder of Chemical Free Body, is going to be with us today. He just came back from an Acapulco. He was down with a lot of truth and freedom seekers and speakers, a lot going on. And he came back to America, and it's starting to be a new country almost every morning, you know. Robert Kennedy Jr. was just confirmed as not just confirmed, but sworn in not too long ago as the new HHS secretary, and the entire country is going all Maha. So we want to talk a little bit about that, get his take on it, and see where he thinks this all is going. Hey, my friend, how's it going? Good to see you.
Oh, it's going good. I got a little bit of a tan. Got some sunshine, vitamin D down there. Was able to get raw coconuts twice a day, every day, and go to the beach and swim and get some work done, help a lot of people. And I'm just excited to be here, man.
Well, we're excited to have you. Hold on. Were you swimming? What ocean were you swimming in?
I don't know. It was a big one.
It,
I was in. I don't even know, dude. I was in
Acapulco. Was it the Gulf of America?
What? Yeah. What ocean? I have no idea.
Or was it the Pacific?
Acapulco.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear that.
I'll just see what pops up. Pacific Ocean.
There you go. So it's on the other side. Yeah. So you were just flying over the Gulf of America. As I said, there's something new every day in this new America, dude. So you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about Maha, about Make America Healthy Again. You've been Maha long before Maha existed. You've been doing this for a long time, helping people, really showing them how to do the work. What do you think of the new HHS secretary? And we can even talk about some things that he's got planned. We're going to pull him up here, but your general perception of what's going on specifically with health in America right now.
Well, the first thing that I would like to address, John, is that last time when we spoke, there was a delay. Okay. I am out in the country, and I'm lucky if I get 60 megabytes download, and uploads 10, and sometimes it drops. Other people get on it. And so I even have it's Wi-Fi to the house. And I spent, I don't know, $3,500 with electric company to have them. I dug the trench myself, brought the hard line in from the Wi-Fi to this trailer just so I could I'm out in the country. Okay. And there was a delay, and a lot of people were saying that Tim needs to shut up and he's talking over Jean. Like, I'm telling you, like, I didn't do it on purpose. Okay. It was a delay. And yes, I'm very excited about stuff. I typically am, because I learn things and I want to share them with people. So, and I try to answer a lot of those responses. Like, my mom and dad taught me to be polite and that stuff. So I think there was one instance where I got excited. I may have talked over you a little bit, but the rest of that stuff was the delay. So let that be known. If this ever happens again, Tim either got really excited, but if you see it happening a lot, it's because there's a delay. That's what it is.
Hey, no hard feelings. I just noticed that a lot of people were like, and during our show, I didn't know it was a delay. I thought it was pure excitement, but I know you. We've had a lot of conversations. I wasn't butthurt, but thank you for people for having my back. I appreciate it, but it's all good. We're all good. So
they have your back. They're like, Tim needs to shut up. Jean's got good things to say too. And I'm like, I know. That's why I hang out with him. I love hearing what he has to say. It was a delay.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Okay, so back to Bobby Kennedy Jr., Maha. Give me your take, brother. Yeah, what do you think?
Years ago, I was one of the first people to actually get kicked off of YouTube and Facebook because I was so outspoken. I actually I had a hat made that was called Make Earth Great Again, right? It was just like way ahead of this stuff. Now, the reality is And a lot of people don't like it, what I say, but here it is. Like, and I'm just telling you from experience and what I believe. You can believe whatever you want, and it's a valid choice. I respect your belief. That's because we have free choice. So I have to respect that. Otherwise, I'm an idiot. Like, because how can I have free choice and not allow you to have free choice? You get to believe what you believe. My thing, though, is that America was founded on people that got sick and tired of tyranny, and they fought and bled for that. Okay. And it wasn't just handed. It was still 18 more years of kind of fighting behind the scenes to get the whole thing in place. And then what happened? Well, those blue bloods and the people over there in Britain and stuff weren't very happy about this whole thing. And so there was a different way. So instead of just shooting people, lining up and shooting them and doing it that way, then what they did was they got into politics, they got into business. And by the mid 1800s, it was a new form of slavery. There was all these textile companies, right? And these women labor movements started emerging, bottoms up, working class people. And now remember, America was a bottoms up work. All that changed come from all of us working class people on the bottom getting together and say, that's enough. We've had it with your tyranny. Bottoms up, America was formed. Okay, bottoms up. Now we go to the mid 1800s. Women were getting pissed because these textile factories, you guys can go look this up. There was Haymarket Square, 4 people died fighting just for an 8-hour workday. They were hung. That sent shockwaves around the world. And still to this day, May Day it's International Workers' Day. All the working class people all over the world celebrate those 4 people in America fighting for they just wanted to be 8 hours of work, 8 hours of their own time, and 8 hours of sleep. That's all they wanted, which sounds crazy, but people died for that to have that. Because they were working 12, 16 hours in these factories, slave wages, dead horses, dead cows, dead goats in the water. The water was putrid, urine and feces in the streets, and then slave wages. Look up the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, where they gave them such cheap wages. They were so afraid that these women that were going there that were going to steal from them because they weren't paying them very much. So they put them in the buildings to work, and they locked the doors because they were afraid they're going to steal. That building caught on fire. And it was like a super early 9/11. 16-year-old girls were jumping out of the windows to their death, so they didn't get burned to death. It was just.
I've never heard that story.
Like, so this stuff was happening all the time. So what happened is that a bunch of pissed off women. Like I always say, if there's going to be change, it's actually women. We need you, okay? Because the guys are kind of slow on the uptake. We're the ones usually causing a lot of the problems. Okay, so these and guys joined in too, but it was the robust women's labor movements of the mid 1800s and early 1900s that actually drove the second 1776, the second freeing of slavery. But it was a different type of slavery, right? You got a job and all this stuff, but so these women fought bottoms up, and what did they get? They said, we're not going to make these textiles anymore. We want 8 hours of work. We want 8 hours off and 8 hours to sleep. And we want better wages. And they fought, and they got the sanitation workers to come in and plumbers, and they got the urine and the feces out of the streets. And they also got all these dead horses and cows and goats out of the water supply. Oh my God. Working class people cleaned up the water. They cleaned up the environment, the streets. And then guess what happened? Well, if you look at infectious diseases, because we're talking about all this stuff today and the jabs and all these things that are going on, measles was pretty prevalent back in the year 1900. 14 out of 100,000 people were dying of the measles. That's a lot, okay? 14 per 100,000. By 1948, 98% of the measles and all the other infectious diseases was eradicated. The measles jab that happened in 1963. So was it your doctor and the pharmacist that healed you of measles? No, it was working class people that said, we don't want to have dead animals in our water and poop and urine in the street. It's probably not a good thing. So by changing the environment and cleaning up the environment and cleaning up the inputs to your bodily system, the water and the air you're breathing and all this stuff, the infectious diseases went away. People talk about this all the time. Back in the day, scurvy. Almost everybody I talk to knows what scurvy is. And it was like the sailors had it, and the British were called limeys. And the reason why was because they thought they had this disease. Don't touch these people. They got scurvy. It was a vitamin C deficiency. That's it.
Right.
It was a deficiency because it wasn't in. They're on these long hauls and there was no fresh food, and so they started giving them lemons and limes, and they didn't get scurvy. That's why they called the British sailors limeys, because they were eating limes. But then for super long voyages, the limes would go bad and they would still get scurvy. So then they went to dried chickpeas. They would eat those and then water them. There's high doses of vitamin C in chickpeas, or hummus, garbanzo beans. So they found ways around it. Again, all these diseases can be traced back to a couple things: toxic pollution, nutrient deficiencies, and stress. And that's it. These are the big. This is what's causing all this stuff, or maybe some weirdos in labs making stuff, right? Okay, that's the new stuff. So now let's fast forward. So bottoms up movement, blah blah blah. Those women and those men striked like millions of them, like 11,000 strikes from 1900 to 1970. But then in 1970, the Democrats and Republicans got together in a united front, and they had this thing where the Democrats said, we're for working class people like that. And the Republicans started saying these bottom up movements are communism. So they created this two-sided deal, Republicans, Democrats, like they were against each other. The Democrats took over these robust bottoms-up working class labor movements. They took over the labor unions, top down, and stopped the strikes, stopped fighting. And then from 1970 until today, what's happened? Our health has went downhill. I was just in Portland, Oregon, right? 4.5 hours from Eastern Oregon here. And guess what? There's urine and feces in the streets again, right? Health is going downhill. Humans are now sicker today than Americans are sicker today than any other time our species has ever existed on this planet. We are the sickest human beings ever.
America is the sickest nation in the world. I mean, that by all markers, standards, it is the sickest nation in the world. Not even close. Chronic disease, obesity, cancer rates, autism rates, you name it, everything through the roof, and everything record breaking. So America is number one again. Just in a
woo-hoo. All right, good job. All right, so to bring this full circle, think about these women. You go back to 1776. They didn't like slavery. They fought for it. They got out of it. It happened again, a new form of slavery.
Yeah, the Revolutionary War was really the one that really ended slavery. It was a little later, but it was part already of, it was part of the the thinking already.
Slavery, there's different forms of it. Thomas Jefferson said even a 1% income tax is a form of slavery. Okay?
Agreed. So we agree. We agree. We do agree. Yeah.
So these women, I'm telling you, it was these dang women, right? They're the ones that change things. I just talked about this on another show. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Woman's daughter gets killed by a drunk driver. She starts mad. Mothers Against Drunk Driving out of her dead daughter's bedroom. Creates this whole organization to bring awareness of stop drinking and killing people. Okay, it's a big deal. Almost everybody's heard about it. You take one pissed off woman, you can change the world. Period. So what ended up happening? There was a whole bunch of them. There was a whole bunch of them back, and they had no cell phones, no nothing, no copiers. They went boots on the ground, bottoms up, door to door, talking to each other, and it spread nationwide with hardly any communication. How'd they do it? On the ground. It's on the ground, outside of social media. This is where the battle's going to be. They can't stop you from talking to your neighbor. They'll try. You can't go outside, Australia, right? You have to stay home. You can go walk your dog for 30 minutes or walk your child. You can't do both. All right. So here we are today. Now the urine and the feces is back in the streets. Our water is polluted. Okay. And it's even worse. All these other things are worse. And if we think that anybody is going to come into office top down and fix things for us, boy, you're in for a rude awakening. It's never happened. It's not going to happen. It should be make yourself healthy again. That's the movement.
That's my man. That's my man.
The F up and understand. It's like, and if you don't know this, I didn't know all this stuff. I had to spend years learning all this stuff and trying to get to delineate down what's going on. Like, what's the core systems of what's going on? It's all BS. And you can like these people that they're putting in or not. Once you find out what's really going on behind the scenes, the Democrats and Republicans have never stopped working together. They're all in the same parties. They all hang out. A lot of them, like that guy you just mentioned and a current president, were both on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. What were they doing over there? How come nobody's talking about that? It's not so much what they say, it's what they do, right? And if it comes to, safer jabs and that kind of stuff, what this guy's talking about, there's only one thing to do. repeal the 1962 Act and repeal the 1986 Act. If you're not doing those two things, if that's not all you're fighting, you're not getting it done, you're wasting your time. There's no such thing as safer jabs. You're going into a system that doesn't work. You and I or anybody listening could not go into become a Democrat or Republican. We go into that system, you're going to get chewed up and spit out. You're never going to get anywhere. Period. That system's hijacked. I've been there, done that with people at a high level. It's not going to work. So you have to do this outside of the broken system. You can't change things inside of the system. You're not going to change the system. It's functioning very well. It's operated very well. You have to
Well, the
create
way it was designed, people just don't know it was designed to operate exactly the way that it does.
And it's designed to take these movements that are happening right now and put these people in place, these figureheads, to take them top down and bring you back into the establishment, bring you back into right back to where you were. Bernie Sanders was a perfect example when Clinton was running. He had a robust grassroots movement, lots of small donations, and at the very end, vote for Hillary. Perfect example. Right back into the establishment. And then all those people exactly like, what? Okay, well, she's better than him, so I'll vote for her. If you're voting for the lesser of two evils, you're screwed. So guess what? We're all screwed because that's all people have been doing for decades. The only vote that counts is when you buy stuff for your own personal use. Vote with your dollars. That's the vote that still counts.
You know, I appreciate that perspective. I want to say that sometimes, you know, sometimes it's not all black and white, and there are good people that go and still go through the grind and get a few things done. But compared with the energy that requires, and compared with the, you know, the time that requires, everybody sitting at home watching this could be doing so much more, so much faster, and leading by example. Like when 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million people change their lives, you know, lose the weight that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, change their diets, and we start this movement by becoming extraordinarily healthy. That will spark, you know, a wave of inspiration, and then we have the strength and the power to tackle all the other stuff. So, you know, that's what you've been doing. Like I said, you've been Maha before Maha even existed, and helping people to do that. What's driving you every day? What's your reason to get up every morning and do that, and run chemical free body and do the things you do?
Well, I can't even imagine doing anything else. It's like, it's not even work. It's fun. It's like, and I'm excited. And you know what? For the people over there that are doing all this weird stuff, thank you so much for the darkness, because that makes being the light so much fun. Because without you, I wouldn't even need to exist. Like, you know, I mean, think about it. My company shouldn't even exist. Why should there be chemicals in our water and our air and our food and our personal care products and our clothing? Why is there heavy metals and all this stuff? Why has the soil been completely farmed out? Why is the medical system broken, except for the critical care stuff and emergency room care, which is amazing and necessary? Why is all this stuff so messed up? It's like, it's because guys like you and me and the gals out there that are go-getters, I've been go-getting and doing other stuff. We've stayed away from politics because it's boring, like whatever. And now it's come full circle, you know, because we haven't paid attention. We let the B team and the C team run things, and they're very easy to manipulate, and they get in all these weird deals. And so, I mean, I've actually thought about it's like running for local office, like for something like city council or something on a school board. Maybe I'll start with a PTA, be in the city, the mayor or whatever. Probably get somebody good. In fact, the founding fathers, they all had jobs. They actually created value in the marketplace, and they were presidents and vice presidents and cabinet members, and they had jobs, and they were allowed to do those jobs, and they were still doing those jobs.
Tim, I gotta, and this time I may be interrupting. I'm sorry, but you said something. I like the thought because I've thought it many times myself. What we do on our channel, for example, and with our show, if we do our job, and if we all do our job together, what we do won't be necessary anymore, not in this form. You kind of said the same thing. You said, what I'm doing right now, if we do our job right, won't be necessary in the future, and my company won't be necessary because people will have healthy soil again, healthy food again. They'll get everything they need. We don't need to create these supplements. I think that's an incredibly mature and spiritually mature, beautiful way of looking at it. There's no scarcity in this. How do you see that playing out, and how do you help people on a daily basis? What do you feel is most important for people right now to take matters into their own hands when it comes to health?
Yeah, it's just that's what I do. So the whole chemical free body thing, the company, the herbal products, the silvers, the coaching, the water hero, all the things that I've delineated and curated over the last 14 years is for my passion. And originally it was because I have to admit I did operate out of fear, because when I was life flighted to get that emergency surgery, that was spooky. Right? I don't like needles and that kind of stuff anyway. So when they're cutting in you and yanking stuff out, I don't like that at all, because they put the thing over your mask over your, and out you go, and you wake up and like it's the next day and beep beep, and there's tubes coming out of you, and you're like, okay, I made it. It's like, whoo, I don't. That's not fun. I was on a freaking vacation that I spent thousands and thousands of dollars and hours of planning with my wife, and I destroyed that vacation because I had allowed a system to destroy my health. And when I took responsibility for that, and I started taking responsibility for everything that entered my body, and I started looking at it and examining it, and my shirt says it all: ingredients matter. The inputs that go into your body and into your mind are very important, especially the thoughts that you say and the words that you speak to yourself. Like we're our own worst enemies sometimes, a lot of times. And if we talk to other people like we talk to ourselves, we'd probably get punched. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
We're
it's
really
true.
hard on ourselves. I coach people through this process all the time, and I'll be like, a perfect example is this. We focus on those 4 core secrets, right? The water intake, the chewing your food, the avoiding liquids with meals, and doing some breath work before you eat. These are foundational things that 95% plus people are not doing, but when they start implementing them, their whole body chemistry changes. One of them is chewing your food until liquefied. Every time I coach somebody, every 2 weeks when we meet, one of the questions, hey, Jean, on a 1 to 10, 1 being you didn't chew your food at all, and 10 being every meal you chewed it till it was completely liquefied, it was amazing, what number would you give yourself? And let's say this is our first coaching call after the onboarding. So 2 weeks, you're kind of
Okay,
new into it.
I'll give you my number. I'm an average 6. Okay, I'd say I'm an average 6.
Okay, well, that's not the best example that I'm going to give, because that's way better than most. But I would ask him that question. Here's what I get. Well, she's Tim. It's like, oh man, I did a really bad job on that. I probably only chewed my food in the last 2 weeks, maybe at meals, maybe 3-4 times. I know it's not good, dude. I know it's important. I just feel bad about it. It's been hard for me. And I'm like, okay, I let him talk. I'm like, all right, Sean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low frequency, like please just hang me, I want to leave this existence, and 10, I feel so amazing, life is wonderful, nothing could get better. On that 1 to 10, what's your frequency right now? What's your vibrational frequency? I'm a 2, Tim, based on I only chewed my food 3 or 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Out of 28 meals, I only did it 4 times. I'm a loser. Okay, you're a 2. Now what I want you to do is I want you to change your wording. Change your self-talk. And so I'm going to ask you the question again, except I'm going to answer it for you and give you a different option. Another option. You can still stick with the other one, but I'll do this. So, hey, Jean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 chewing your food, blah, 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 and 10, it's amazing. What number? Well, you know what, Tim? I'm really proud of myself, because before I met you, I never chewed my food at all. I engulfed it like Garfield. But out of the last 28 meals, I've chewed it really well 4 times. Isn't that amazing? Like I've got programs like, yes, Jean, that is amazing. You know what? We have to stop. I'm going to get a plane ticket. We're coming. I'm calling the mayor. We're throwing a parade in your honor. You chewed your food 4 times. Woo! Now, let me ask you this, Sean. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your vibrational frequency? How do you feel? Dude, I feel like a 9. What has changed? It was your language. It was your language. It was how you looked at things. The glass half full, the glass half empty. Your language does matter. This is an input to your biological system. What your thoughts and what you say to yourself and to others is going to dictate how the chemistry is made inside of yourself. The cortisol, the adrenaline, all these things, these chemicals your body's this amazing chemical factory. And our emotions can drive those chemicals to ultimate health or an early demise and crappy, poor health. It really is up to us. So inputs are very important. They're very important. High quality food, grown in fresh, nutritious, rich soil, full of microbes, not tilled. Fresh. Getting all the toxins out of your body on the daily, because they're daily coming in. having a daily detox protocol to always be getting them out like you guys are now doing. And then learning how to respond differently to these stressors and love yourself. It all this, and to do all this stuff, you have to love yourself. You really do. And when you realize that your core vibrational frequency is nothing more than unconditional love, and the only reason you're not feeling it is because of parental and societal conditioning, you can start brushing away the clouds and let the sun shine. That unconditional love hit you, and you will start taking action. And what we do is what we're really good at is helping you do it at home in less than 2 minutes a day and get the ball rolling. I'm like the launcher. I help people get launched, get the initial inertia, get you off of the ground, get the space shuttle up out of there, and then it takes off, and then you might go a bunch of different directions.
Tim, you're on fire today in the best possible way. Very inspiring, hitting those truth bombs. I'm inspired. I love it, and I know you. You're always. If I would say, Tim's usually on a bad day, he's at 110%. On a good day, he's way up there. He's at 180%. Like you said, when the optimal way is go start growing your food. Get your sprouts, do all that, and people are thankfully many people are doing that. Many people are getting started. Many people are on their journeys and they're already teaching others. But if it's more like okay, I'm here, I know my situation, and I want to get on this journey and I want to start now. What can they do? What do you guys offer? You talked about this package that the bundle that we do and that we use every day. And where can people learn more about what you
Yeah.
do and how you teach?
Well, and I want to address this too, because, myself, I go into the comments and I try to answer these comments the best I can and stuff. And there's some people that are very upset because we have products for sale and that you and I are really good salespeople. Yeah, I'm a good salesperson. I'm trying to sell you on loving yourself and getting really healthy and not falling for all this BS that's going on, because that's where I was. And now that I'm out, I would have loved somebody like me to whack me upside the head and say, dude, you can go that way. You don't have to fall for all this stuff. Right. And so, yeah, I was a financial advisor. I had to make a living doing something. I left a pretty cushy job that I was taking over a big company to tell people about sprouts and green juice, and I had no company. And I lived off my savings for a long time until it was pretty much gone. And then this thing started creeping along. I was living on people's couches literally for 5 years, taking all my money, going back into the company. So I pull no puns about it. So if you can't afford our products, that's okay. Those 4 core secrets: making sure you have adequate water, chewing your food until liquefied, will change your life. It's the first domino in digestion. Avoiding liquids with meals to not dilute the digestive enzymes that your beautiful body just made in your mouth that's going to digest your food. And then doing some breath work before you eat to calm your nervous system so you can actually digest your food and assimilate it. Doing things like enemas and colon hydrotherapies and going out and, here's some great advice for people who have no money. Go to a used bookstore. In fact, everybody should take this advice. Because again, I don't think the top down, if these people top down do anything good, great. I believe in working class people. Go get yourself a wild edible foraging book for your area. A real book that you can get your hands on, and keep it somewhere where it won't burn up. Put it in a fireproof safe. That could be very important for your health. If that alone could save your life. That's an amazing thing to have, where it's like, if you can't go to the grocery store anymore, what are you going to eat? Well, guess what? If you have that book, you're going to look and you're like, oh, wow, I got dandelion leaves. That's a top 10 Chinese herb. I can eat the leaf. I can make teas out of it. I can use the flower, the roots. There's dandelion root tea. Like, they sell it, traditional medicinals. It's amazing. It's like a robust, flavorful coffee deal. You got that. There's just so many things that you can do for free to help yourself. Grounding, taking your feet. So I just wanted to give a little sample of, like, there's a lot of stuff you can do for yourself for free that you might not be doing, that you can make it and do that. And if you have a little bit of money or a lot of money and you would like to get some help and speed up the process, you can go to chemicalfreebody.com/inspired, get the discount, get the Inspired Health Bundle or one of the other bundles, and get rocking and rolling, and it'll speed up the detox, flood your body with nutrition, because some people aren't going to have access. You're in a condo in a high rise in New York. Where are you going to get stuff?
You
Where are you
know,
going to get it?
Tim, you said something about that people get triggered by that, and I never understood that. And I was, I've experienced all sides of the financial coin. I've
Yeah, me too.
experienced
Up,
being
down,
abundant, and
up,
I've
down.
experienced like nothing, like homelessness, like literally nothing. So I never blamed anyone else, or I never blamed someone for saying, "Hey." As a matter of fact, I always appreciate it if I could find someone that I trust, if I could find someone that I know has great intentions, speaking the truth. I want them or what they have to offer much rather than going to the freaking grocery store and buying something from a huge conglomerate that is poisoning us on the front end and on the back end. So
But they have
it's
really good
beautiful.
marketing.
For me, it's beautiful that we can highlight companies like yours,
Mhm.
that it has the highest standards that you could possibly have, that every day does everything to improve even those standards. And where you vote, you don't just vote with your dollar, you vote for your health, but you actually support a company that supports the people. I don't know where the losers are in that. You know what I mean? This is a win-win-win
Well,
scenario.
let me give you an example, dude, and I hope I'm not cutting you off. Because do you wanna finish? Because I don't wanna get in trouble.
No, no, no. It's a
I
win-win-win
don't wanna cut
scenario.
you off, but it's like, these greens, like, these change people's lives. When we've had 2 times out of the last 10 years, I actually ran out because of supply issues. One ingredient, we had to wait, and it was out for a week once, and I think 3 weeks another time out of the greens. And I got emails like, dude, I have to have this stuff. My kidneys are shutting down. This stuff is what's saving me. So I understand there's a responsibility for once somebody has something good, some people are using this stuff to live, like literally. It's a great responsibility. I've been wanting to put this stuff, all my products, in sustainable, 100% compostable packaging. So we have it now. But guess what? The first order that I did, and I there was this other company and their bags, it was expensive. I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to pay the extra money, whatever. I have to do this. I'm not going to raise the prices on this stuff. And I just didn't do it. There was something going on. Well, we found out they had a lot of problems with the bags. The bags were coming apart. It was a nightmare for these companies that were trying to do this and trying to do better things. They're like, we don't use them anymore. We got this company. They're doing amazing stuff. The bags are excellent. I'm like, okay, let's rock and roll. And the pricing was almost exactly the same as the plastic containers. But then by the time I got to it, some things had changed and it went up probably 100%. So I'm paying double. But I'm still like, I don't care. It was still a little bit cheaper than the other ones. Like, whatever. I'm into sustainability. I don't want to put plastic on the planet because I don't want it to hurt you and your family. I don't want microplastics in your newborn child. Okay. I want no part of it. So we switched over to this thing. Well, what happened was the film, the plant-based film company where they get the film from changed something. They didn't tell everybody. And so when they sealed the bags at 300 degrees, they really needed to be sealed at 350. So some of
Hmm.
them had problems. My first order, all of a sudden we had bags exploding and making a big mess, and it was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And I'm like, I have to create these things, and we're sending stuff out, and they did this. I had to have them pull all the bags, go through every single bag that was in fulfillment, and pull out any ones that were broken. And we still have a few trickling out that are breaking still. And then I had to pay to ship it again. I had to eat that. I had to send another bag. And I'm not going to, I was like, gosh, maybe I should have left them in the plastic because like this could kill me. This is hard for a business owner. Like we're talking tens of thousands of dollars, guys, just gone. But I'm not going to stop. Eventually, I'm going to get all my products are going to be in sustainable 100% compostable packaging because I don't want to be part of the problem anymore. And I'm going to fight for it. And I'm looking for people that are wanting high quality products. Again, you asked me earlier, what about these people that are getting voted in all this stuff? I really don't care. If they do something good, great. I'm counting on the person listening to this to change their life. And if I can be a part of it and I can help you with this green product or our detox products or our silver or the coaching or whatever that we have, then awesome. If I'm not for you, that's okay too. It's not for everybody, but I want to be able to help people and I want to do good in the world. And I think that that's how we're going to change things, man. It's just like, and you vote, you spend money with me, you're going to get a good product. I guarantee it because I'm eating this stuff myself and I am not putting chemicals in my body.
Like
Period.
I said,
I eat it all.
I would never recommend anything that I don't put in my body, my wife doesn't put in her body, our kids, our families, everybody. That's how
Yeah.
we roll. But this is how we change this is how we literally change the structure.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I don't need Nestle out there. I don't need the big companies out there. I would actually, but we do need the Tim Jameses. We do need the chemical free bodies. We need those people who are uncompromising and unwilling to sacrifice their values and their morals and their standards for anything, especially not money. So that being said, Tim, I want to thank you for bringing the heat in the most beautiful way today. Love those stories that I've never heard before, and how you brought it full circle. So fantastic. And I just want to encourage people to go over to chemicalfreebody.com/inspired. Take a look around, see what works, what feels good for you right now. Tim has amazing education on there too. You know, all his podcasts. You can book sessions with his coaches. You can give him a call if you have questions. It's a fantastic company. Tim, brother, it's always great to have you. Thank you for your time and everything you do.
I much appreciate it, and thanks for the listeners for tuning in today. And I hope that you just keep improving along with us, grow with us, make
Amen.
ourselves healthy again. That's where we're doing.
Wonderful. Inspire Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon.